you have to try and make that choice, okay? Are you gonna go down the whole, like, the road of, like, we're gonna stroke rocks and sit in a circle and play the bongo drums and, like, not have any success in our life but pretend that we do? Or are you actually going to go down the actual real road of success, get freaking organized, and actually, you know, start to build a sense of purpose, certain sense of self-esteem, so that you can actually get success in your life? Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Dice here, and I want to welcome you to this video on cleaning the slate. So I didn't actually bring my sunglasses today, so I'm squinting a lot in this video, but I'm hoping that you'll hang with me and get something out of this video, because I wish someone had sat me down somewhere in my late teens and explained to me the content that I'm about to give you in this video. It would have saved me a ton of work and a ton of pain. And I know if you take this thing seriously, it's going to completely change your life the same way it did for me. Okay, so it's actually super simple, this video, but at the same time, I need to be able to explain it to you in a way that I wish someone explained it to me, hence why I've actually got some notes, okay? So for some people, this actual exercise is actually a really daunting task. It's surprisingly only going to take you like maybe a day or two to get the bulk of it done, and then it's just sort of like ongoing maintenance. But for many people, they don't even bother to do this. And I believe it's because they feel, and I feel in myself sometimes when I first started doing this, is like, it seems like a very daunting task. There's almost like too many things to organize. So because you feel that it's a really big and long task and it's boring and you're not really going to get any rewards, immediate rewards out of it, you just ignore it and you don't actually do it. But in this video, I'm going to explain how to actually do it and why, in my opinion, it's actually really important that you actually do this so that you can go after your purpose, you can go after your goals, go after your tasks, actually get more out of life, okay? So first I want to talk about like how you actually go about it, and then later I want to talk about why you want to get like organized in the first place. So right now you're probably, if you're clicking on this sort of video, you're probably feeling like really overwhelmed. Okay, you might be burnt out, you might have too many projects going at once and you're not really sure like which direction to go, and you probably have like this real ADHD brain, like you'll start a project and then you go into the next project and then something pops up and you got to chop and change, and you're just like running around with your head cut off and you're not actually sure like how you actually can get your life in order. So in this video, I'm hoping to be able to help you with that. So if this sounds like something that you're interested in, by all means, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I love doing these videos and giving out all this free content. And hopefully over a course of a period of time, you'll be able to like resonate with picking up what I'm putting down, and may reach out to me on Instagram and maybe even take up my course and get some one-on-one mentorship. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, reach out to me on Instagram. But for now, stay tuned for the free content. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about is connecting with the why. So there's a number of ways that you can go about this, but the first reason that sort of comes to mind is, why do you want to get organized, okay? The biggest one is probably like, well, you're probably starting to see that what you're doing right now is not really working, and it's causing you a lot of stress, anxiety, and light level depression, because you're jumping around and nothing, like you're spread too thin and nothing is really getting done, okay? So that's one reason that you want to connect with the why. Why do I want to get organized? It's because what I'm doing right now is not working. So that could be the only reason. But another one is like you're realizing that because of all these other tasks that are coming up, your dreams, your goals, and not having a purpose is actually causing you to go and do all these random tasks. That's like an avoidance strategy, and that's starting to eat you up inside. It's starting to make you feel like you'll never actually get to the things that are actually important to you because you're overwhelmed with all these different tasks. So I want you to sort of spend a moment, maybe even pause this video or even put it in the comment section below. List out to me in the comment section below some of the reasons why you need to clean your slate and get organized so that you can actually get your life together, okay? Pause this video and put that in the comment section below. All right, break. So once you've actually gone and done this task, now you actually need to, you've probably realized that there's a lot of like, I guess, dominoes and a lot of pre-tasks that you need to do in order to allow a space to open up and time to open up for you to actually go after the things that are important to you, or even to give you a sense of clarity, a sense of time to be able to process things so that you can actually work out what your purpose is. Okay, so there's many different reasons on why you want to do this. So I'm sort of working this into the video, and also at the same time I'm going to show you how. So now you have to start to make the list, okay? You want to do this in the morning when your mind is clear and you haven't actually taken on a whole lot of additional stresses from the day, okay? you want to usually do this maybe on the first day of your day off, okay? You know, like I'm assuming in this case you're working the 9 to 5 and you do get a day off. And if you're an entrepreneur and you don't seem to get some time, you need to schedule time for yourself for this, because if you do this, what's actually going to happen is you're going to free up more time for you to actually do the things that are important. Trust me, it works, all right? So what you're trying to do is you're trying to create a list. At this stage, don't worry too much about the actual priorities of them. Just start to brainstorm a lot of the ideas that are important, or the things that you need to do that are important in order to move your life forward, okay? So sometimes it's really hard to sort of like work out what is important, what is not important. We'll get to that later in the video. But for now, just sort of like go through and write down a whole lot of stuff that you want to achieve this year, maybe in the next 5 years, some of the goals that you have, some of the things that are like pressing and urgent, whatever sort of comes to mind, you want to put in a list in no particular order. And you want to do it in a way that is like, it's not just in your head, it has to be it has to be something outside of your head. You need to write this list either on a piece of paper, you need to do it on a computer that's not connected, and make sure your internet's off. Maybe you've got a phone that is not connected to, hasn't got a SIM card in it. Maybe you do like something on a whiteboard. Like whatever is going to work for you, whatever comes naturally to you. The point is you need to get it out of your head and onto something physical, okay? Or digital on the computer, something that you can reference and add to. It might take a day, it might take 2 days, it might take a week, but you want to sort of like try and get into the habit of finding a method, or maybe 2 methods that work for you, okay? So some of the stuff that I got from Jordan Peterson really helped me out with this. So I want to give that and share that to you. So this is some of the questions that he asks around this time when you're trying to work out what direction to go in and how to actually build out a list. So the first question is, what are the things I could actually do to work on and to fix my life? And another one that is sort of said in a bit of a different way is, what is something I could do that I would do to make my life better? Okay, so let that sink in for a moment and actually like go through, and when you're asking these questions of yourself, start to like list them out in no particular order. You don't want to punish yourself while you're making this list. You don't want to have any judgments. At this stage, you're just trying to work out and brainstorm some ways to get out of the situation that you're in, or just to get some more clarity on your life. So now the list is done, okay? Let's assume that you've done that and you've done the list and you're feeling pretty overwhelmed, okay? You're looking at it, you've run out of ink, you've run out of paper, and you're like, holy shit, a lot actually needs to be done in order to like clean my slate so that I can actually get to a level of clarity and open up a space of time to be able to process a lot of things. So I've been there. I feel your pain, okay? But as I'll talk about throughout this video, I want to explain why this is like a really, really strong, and like you should be very proud that you've actually put together and even got this far, because most people haven't even made it this far, okay? So don't beat yourself up. It's awesome that you've made it this far. So this is where you have to implement Stephen Covey's, like I got this out of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, because I would like to have the book to sort of reference. But anyway, I'll give you the gist of it in this video. You're going to have these 4 boxes, these 4 quadrants, okay? And then on the outside of those boxes, you're going to have important, not important, urgent, and not urgent, okay? So at this point, what you're trying to do is you're trying to go through the list that you've created and try and put them into the box that you think is most relevant in the order in those boxes, so that like the most important or most urgent thing in that particular category is in that box. I hope that makes sense. Maybe I'll put a little like thingy-me-bob in this video so it'll actually help you understand what I'm talking about here. Okay, so, and if you're like me, another way of going about it is you're probably realizing that the list is forever changing, okay? So you might want to pick 2 methods to do this. You might have like a vision board. I like to have a whiteboard with these magnetic strips that where you can write on the magnetic strips and move the magnetic strips around and have them like in set categories on what to do. And then also like for my day-to-day like stuff that's like day-to-day tasks or stuff that I need to add to the list, tasks that are not super long, I like to put in a list in my phone that is actually like, how do I explain it? Like the most important, the most thing that's, I believe, has the highest priority is at the top of the list. And then you start to sort of have like a bit of a vision that you can reference very easily on a day-to-day basis, okay? The key things you want to hear is you want to get it out of your head. You want it to be easily accessible. You want to try and make it a least amount as chore as possible so that you actually stick with it. And then over time, hopefully it starts to become a little bit more fun for you to actually do as you start to see the progress on actually ticking off or getting rid of things on the list, all right? Another thing you can do is you can set reminders on your phone, okay? This doesn't really work for me, but I know a friend of mine, she actually puts reminders on a phone for when she needs to complete tasks, and that sort of like gives her a kick in the ass to actually get the shit done. All right, I'm just gonna pause here and move the camera because I'm actually in the sun now. So now you've actually got like a list, or you've filled out those 4 quadrants that I've talked about, and you can sort of have like a third person view of what you need to do to clean your slate, to sort of get a little bit more freedom in your life to be able to take on other tasks. So you're probably feeling a little bit overwhelmed, okay? You're like, holy shit, there's a lot to do, and like you can sort of have like this gut feeling that's sort of like dropping, and like, oh man, there's so much to do. And that's probably why a lot of people don't actually bother with doing this in the first place, because it's like an anxiety like triggering exercise. But I would say to you that if you've made it this far and you've done it, I would say at least see it through for 3 months. At least give it a go, so that you can actually say to yourself that you've actually tried a method, and then maybe you might actually shift to another method, or maybe you're meant to live the whole like la la land life, and if in that case you probably shouldn't be watching a video about how to get organized. But for the people that watch these videos that I put out, this is about getting organized. It's very logical, it's very meticulous. It's talking about deep diving into your mind so that you can actually go after your purpose, go after your dreams, and do things that are actually important to you. So you have to try and make that choice, okay? Are you gonna go down the whole like the road of like we're going to stroke rocks and sit in a circle and play the bongo drums and like not have any success in our life but pretend that we do? Or are you actually going to go down the actual real road of success, get freaking organized, and actually, you know, start to build a sense of purpose, a certain sense of self-esteem, so that you can actually get success in your life? So it's really up to you. Anyway, so if you actually have chosen to actually keep going down this path, now you've actually realized that, you know, you can actually see your problems. You can actually see the things that you actually need to do in the correct order and procedure in order to achieve the goal that you want to achieve. Whereas before, it was probably very muddled in your brain. So by now, you should have like hopefully a better idea of what you actually need to do to make this thing possible, okay? So here comes the hardest part, all right? Here comes the hardest part. The hardest part is actually getting yourself to do the things that you now know that you need to do, okay? This is where a lot of people get stuck, including myself. Procrastination, I get it, all right? And you know, there is no such thing as a perfect human. But if you can start to get into a habit or start to work out what actually is going to motivate you to start doing it on a micro level, which is what I'm about to get into, you'll be able to actually start to tick off some things on the list, and things will actually get done. So on a micro level, you need to have an understanding of your own basic reward circuitry. Okay, so what do I mean by this? So to understand this, what you need to know, try and work out, is what are the things that are actually going to help you and keep you motivated to start taking things off the list. So for me personally, it's elimination, okay? It's like the moment you actually wipe something off the whiteboard. It's the moment that I actually delete something that's written on a line on my phone. And I get a little bit of a buzz from that, okay? You're like, yes, I accomplished a small task that's gonna help with a bigger goal, all right? And then for some people, it's like they like like putting a line through things. Some people, they like to put a tick next to it. Some people, they might do like some sort of like a diary, and they have like an end of day reflection time where they're like, oh, I actually achieved this, I achieved that, and they feel good that they actually did the things that they said they were going to do that day. And other people, simply just having that list and not touching it, but looking at it every now and then, and like I'm not actually like crossing anything out, in a few months' time they create another list, seeing that list completed makes them feel really good. So you need to try and work out what is actually going to what's actually going to make you like motivated and excited to actually get things ticked off the list. I'm hoping that you actually can still hear me with the angle grinder that's going. Before, the angle grinder wasn't going across the road. There's a lot of construction around here. I'm just nearby the Meriton in Service Paradise, but I'm hoping that you can still hear me. Hit the like button if you can still hear me. So the key point of this that I want to get out is you need to find a system that works for you, that doesn't feel so much like a chore, and that you'll actually stick to, okay? This doesn't have to be something that's super rigid. It's something that works. As long as it works, it doesn't really matter what it looks like. It doesn't really matter what other people say about it. Your handwrite's awful. It doesn't matter, as long as it works for you, and as long the key note of this is, are things actually getting done? Are you actually excited to actually do the tasks to some degree, okay? I know there's going to be situations where things are going to be boring and mundane, which I want to get to in the next part, which is more of the macro perspective on how to keep yourself motivated and excited to keep doing those tasks. And that's something that you will only, like, I can only point you in the right direction, but you'll have to actually feel and understand it for yourself by implementing the strategies that are in this video. So if you got something out of this video, I want to thank you so much for watching, and if you could just hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, I really appreciate it. And also you'll be able to stay tuned for any new content that I put out just like this. If you think that you and I would actually be a good fit to work together, then by all means, I want you to reach out to me on Instagram. You and I can get on a one-on-one discovery call and actually see if we're a good fit. And if we are a good fit, we can actually put you through my mentoring program, or I can tailor something to suit your needs, okay? I know how crazy it is when you're trying to work out what your purpose is, where your direction in your life is, where your direction of your life is going, how you can actually get organized. I love talking about this stuff, and I have so many of these strategies that I want to share with you. So if this sounds like something that you're interested in, by all means reach out to me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and Dice out. Nice.